Welcome to Behind the Screens, Conversations with Background Screening Pros. I'm Les Rosen, your host, and I'm excited to have you here. On this podcast, we chat with the people who know the background screening world inside and out. Executives, industry experts, legal pros, and more. We dive into their personal stories and insights to give you a real look at what's happening behind the scenes. Whether you work in the screening industry or are just curious, Behind the Screens bring you the real, unfiltered conversations from the people who make it all happen. Stick around for stories you won't hear anywhere else. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Behind the Screens, Conversations with Background Pros, the folks that actually make the industry happen. And I decided that we're going to disrupt the normal programming and do something hopefully that's fun and interesting. And who better to do that with than a wonderful group of people who put together a presentation at Mid-Year on disruption in background screening. So we have a group that I call the Disruptors. We're going to disrupt this podcast, and I think they're all interesting. I think this will be more interesting. And we have with us today, in alphabetical order, Mr. Andrew Cashman, Ms. Tressa Fullard, Kevin Horval, and Oakley Smith. And they'll introduce themselves. We have people that are both vendors and end users, or CRAs rather. We have people with tons of experience and people that are newer to the industry. We have people who've been volunteers of the month and served on committees, and one unlucky soul took on the chair of the U.S. Council. So all that will come out and will all be revealed as we have today's podcast with the Disruptors. So let's get right to it, and we're going to have everyone introduce themselves. So we'll start with Andrew Cashman. Andrew, hello, welcome to the program. Tell us about yourself. What is it you currently do, and who do you do it with and for?
First of all, I just want to tell you thank you, by the way. On behalf of all of us, this is an awesome opportunity, and it's so good to be here looking at you with your awesome podcast. So I just used awesome too many times, so we're not going to delete that. We're going to keep it in because we're having fun.
Well, but now I'm glad you said that now, but if you say it an hour from now, then I'll really be impressed.
All right. So I'm with SPI Researchers. I've been with them for about 2 years now, but I've known Patty McGowan, who owns the company, for 20 years, dear friend of mine. And being the VP of her company has been a great experience for me. I get to have my hands on a lot more things than I have had in my history before, including some strategy things, which I think is just cool. Anywhere I can be creative is fun for me.
I've known Patty, my entire career, and she is wonderful. She is one of the coolest, nicest, most wonderful people I've ever met. I haven't talked to her for a little while. I got to talk to her. Anyway,
I'll have to put
Patty
you together.
McGowan. Yeah. And our next guest, introducing Tressa Fullard from ClearStar. Tressa, tell us about yourself.
Hi, so I'm Tressa Fullard. I've been in the industry now for 4 years. I've been with ClearStar for 6 months, and as of today, I am their Director of Vendor Management and Procurement.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Along with that, I'm also serving as chair for the Volunteer Program Advisory Group with PBSA, and I genuinely love the industry and everything about it.
Oh, that's fantastic. We also have with us Kevin Horval. Kevin, tell us about yourself. What do you do? And why do you have Equifax written across your shirts?
Yeah, I think I just gave away where I'm at currently, no doubt about it. But pleasure being here, Les. And, I'm hoping we inspire some future disruptors as we talk today. So currently I am at Equifax Workforce Solutions. I am a senior strategic account manager there today. Funny enough, my story began at IntelliCorp long ago, and I interviewed for a sales position, and the sales VP at that time pretty much said, I don't think you'll be a salesperson, but here we are, full circle, and I'm the salesperson. So there you go.
All right. And if you have one of those shirts like double extra large, send one to me. I think that would be great. And finally, let me introduce Oakley Smith. Oakley, tell us about yourself, what you're doing, how you got there. What's up?
Sure. Hey, Les. So my name's Oakley Smith. I'm the Vice President of Operations at Vetty. So we call ourselves a hiring acceleration platform. So we are a CRA focused on really speeding up the offer to active workflow for our users. That encompasses anything from, background screening to occupational medicine, verifications, and beyond. So I've been with Vetty going on 3 years now. I've really known the Vetty team for going on almost 6, as I was the vice president of operations for one of their top clients for about 3 years before coming on to the Vetty team. So I've had both the CRA experience as well as the end user experience.
And you also have some medical credentials, right? If I recall, looking at LinkedIn, tell us. Tell
I
us about
do,
that.
yes. So I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist by trade. So I maintain that credential because it was too hard to get. So I'm not going to give it up. So I keep doing my CPUs and all the fees and everything like that. My background is in nutrition and food science. So that's what my master's is in and one of my bachelor's degrees. Although now it's just good party talk. I don't really use it much in my day to day beyond just knowing some of the clinical inner workings of occupational medicine. But yeah.
I love it. Party talk. People will ask you, should I eat that? The answer is, if you're asking me, the answer is no. You know not to eat that. You wouldn't be asking the question. Well, you guys came together with a really fantastic presentation at the PBSA Mid-Year about disruption. So first of all, just go through the group. Whoever wants to go first, name a disruption. We'll start with Tressa. Tressa, what was your disruption?
So my disruption was introducing electronic reverse auctions to the supply chain field. So having all of our vendors bid on business versus just the normal RFP process.
Oh, okay. Kevin, what was your disruption?
This one might ring a bell. I think I've heard some other members who've been part of the interview panel bring it up. The consumer wallet. So essentially storing all the components of the background screen within the consumer wallet and the consumer driving the process.
So applicant control data.
You got it.
Yeah, this goes back a long time, but I introduced a website, never took off, called My Job History, which is exactly what we did. That was in 2001.
Before your
consumer
time.
wallet, a consumer vault, the whole 9 yards, and it went, let's see, nowhere. But oh well.
Maybe the timing's right now, though, Lester.
Hey, it's all timing, right?
Yeah,
Oakley,
it
what
is.
was your disruption?
Yeah, unless you may be a disruptor yourself. So good we're all here, right? You were a disruptor in 2001. So my disruption was focused around occupational medicine and have candidates paying for occupational medicine versus employers, which then could save millions of dollars for employers across the industry, as well as a compilation of those records so that people could use those occupational medicine records across multiple agencies or employers versus having to get poked and prodded and spend those dollars associated with so many services so often as we do today.
Wow. Well, you guys are onto it. And finally, our final disruption. Andrew, what was your topic?
So my topic and brief was a little bit overlapping, and we didn't do this on purpose, but I also spoke about applicant-based reporting, going full compliance and saying, let the applicant give you the check mark before you give it to an end user. And I've had that thought for a long time. And to be honest with you, I don't know if your next question is this, but I'm going to tell you, that I've known Kevin for a long time. We didn't work together, but we've pontificated a lot with each other regarding the industry, and we are local, so we'll meet for coffee and just nerd out on background checks. And both Oakley and Tressa I met just in Boston, and they both did the same thing with me when we were talking. Oakley attended another session, and we really just were able to talk and decide. I decided that those are two people to tap on the shoulder for this. And it was great because we did overlap, and it's a new concept that I think is great for the sessions and for PBSA. And whether it's us, we're going to try again to do it one more time. But if it's us or someone else, we hope that it continues to go. And I'll let each person kind of answer why they did it, because they didn't have to trust me and think about how this might be good or bad.
Well,
But,
everyone jump in. How did you guys come together? How did you enjoy the session? How was it for you? Go ahead. Anybody who wants to hit the mic, go ahead.
I mean, I love the session. Andrew hit on it there. We've known each other for a long time, so we've had a lot of discussions on innovation over the years, creative thinking. Our first conversation was probably about the Cleveland Browns, so that wasn't a great place to start. So we just let's talk about some stuff that's more interesting, stuff that can actually be fun. But I loved doing the presentation. My clear favorite. I had some duds in the past, so you got to have a few duds before you get to one that's really good. But it's awesome to just exercise that muscle in presenting alone, but let alone something you feel really passionate about. And I think that's what we hit at each other's core, is this is something we all feel really passionate
Oh, that's
about.
great. And Oakley, Tressa, how was it for you guys?
It was great for me. I'm naturally a disruptor anyway. I absolutely like to get people thinking outside of the box and outside of the everyday norm. And so it was just awesome. And then to be able to do it with the PBSA format, it was great. So thank you, Andrew, for including me.
I thought that's great. Well, I think when I heard you all did amazing. And Oakley, how'd you get roped into with this motley crew?
So I like to ask questions, and I'm a huge nerd. And I just nerded out with Andrew in one of his sessions at one of the last conferences and asked probably way too many questions and showed my nerdy self out. And as we walked out, we were talking more about staying connected and asking more questions. And I think that sparked an interest in each other to then, be approached about this opportunity, which I've absolutely loved being a part of. These folks here, it's always a joy to work with them. And I don't think any of us knew really what we were getting into, but now coming full circle, it's been one of the best choices that I could speak for myself that I've made, maybe that we've all made.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's great. When Tressa said you're always a disruptor, I guess a less polite term for disruptor might be, I think I can say this, is my podcast, Shit Disturbers?
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Let's
So Shit Disturbers are us. Here we go. Right.
stir it up.
So
Does your
you
own
guys,
podcast, Les.
so you guys going to try and put the band back together and maybe present in the future? If that's in the cards, who knows, right?
We are definitely going to put it in and look for the second one. And again, we're hoping this becomes something that new. And then that was the other thing. We wanted new people that don't speak at sessions. And I'm not new anymore. I've spoken at a few, but Tressa and Oakley, and they're brand new. And I think I didn't do it. I shouldn't say that, but I think Monster has been awoken in both of them. I think they're going to be contributors for the future. And Kevin and I, we can kind of like back up if we want to, maybe.
Well, don't back up too far, but all right. So let me ask you. I mean, you guys all have these marvelous, varied careers, and some have been in the industry longer on different parts of the industry. But one of the interesting things we always like to talk about, this is one of my standard questions, is kind of an early lesson that you learned in your career, either a career in background screening or perhaps in a career or a firm before background screening, that has stuck with you, that sort of has got you where you are today. Well, Kevin, why don't you start?
Yeah, I'll go.
Next okay.
Yeah, I love this topic. Early lessons in the career. I've got 3. I'll make it quick. Raise your hand. Just raise your hand. Get involved at your company, whatever it is. It's operational, it's disputes, it's customer service, it's sales. If they need somebody to do something, raise your hand and do it. Even if it's like, oh, I've got to do data entry. That's how you learn. That's how you meet new people. And then get involved. Get involved with the PBSA network. Talk to other people. Ask those questions, right? Be curious. What can you learn from other people in the industry? And then last but not least, and no surprise here, get uncomfortable. It goes perfect with Disrupt. So put yourself up on stage, do webinars, do those things you didn't really see yourself doing when you first started in the industry or your career.
So get off the couch and get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, no
And
couch
what's that
potatoes around here.
And what's that old commercial that they used to have on the TV? The more you know. Oh, that's great. Oakley, what about you? What's a lesson that you learned in your career that has stuck with you to today? One that comes to mind.
Well, I think Kevin jumped in my brain and stole my thought because, just being a dietitian by trade, I probably shouldn't be here today, right? I think why I'm here and why I found so much success is mirroring what Kevin said, has just been not saying no to an opportunity. I think it's so easy, like you said, to stay in your comfort zone and stick with what you're comfortable with and not put yourself out there. And, when Andrew had approached all of us, we could have easily said, I don't want to be up on a stage. I don't want to try this new thing. Disruptive. I don't want to be known as disruptive, right? But we didn't. And look, now we're here. And I think a lot of us are where we're at today because we didn't say no, right? And we accepted something that we weren't comfortable with. Maybe to say just a newer thing after building off of Kevin, one lesson I've learned is to, listen to understand, not to respond. I think that having that lesson front of mind throughout my career has been really helpful just to gain new perspectives and diversify my knowledge bank and to not always be the first one to, bark out and respond. I have learned to try to sit back and absorb, and that's just made me, a better leader, a better teammate, and I would advise others to do the same.
I think that's great. That's one of those quotes you can put on the wall. Listen to understand, not to respond. Because so often, all of us, including me, when I'm listening to somebody, I'm really thinking, okay, what should I say back? All right, so that's a great lesson to, the value of listening. So I appreciate that. What's a lesson you learned, Andrew, that you'd like to share?
An early lesson for me, or a couple, has to do with personal relationships and professional relationships. I was given a lot of Jason Morse with Employee Screen IQ at the time, Background Information Services, gave me a big responsibility as a young man to be a vendor manager and allowed me to go to the background investigator conferences, NAPBS, PBSA conferences, and I developed a lot of great relationships. Discussions 20 years ago that are still alive, friendships that are still alive today with, and I mean friendships too, not just acquaintance things. Like there are people that I've met in this industry that are dear friends of mine, and that has helped, being friendly and doing that. With that being said, an early lesson was also with some of that power and being a young man. I think I had a reputation. I know I had a reputation of being kind of a hammer on the desk type of a vendor manager, and it took me some time to get out of that. And I think that for anyone else in the same type of position, that's some empathy and things like that came to me later, and I tried to learn some lessons from that. So that's something that comes to mind right away.
Oh, fantastic. Tressa, what's a lesson that you've learned in your career that has helped guide you and comes to mind?
Always being willing to dare to disrupt. You can't change anything if you're not willing to disrupt the norm, for sure. But another thing that I've learned over the years is just making sure that we are always reminded of being of service. Everyone has a need, and you just have to recognize that need and be of service at the right time. And if you do that, then everything will fall into place.
That's a really great point, is that we're all servant leaders in this sort of a thing. And we're fulfilling needs, not only of our clients, but our team members, the people above us, people sideways and below, wherever you are on the org chart. So those are all great suggestions. So let's move on a little bit. We also have a segment called Proud Moments. So looking back at your career, is there an accomplishment or an achievement that stands out, that's something that brings a smile to your face, either in the screening industry or other professional life? Oakley, do you want to start? You want to take this one?
Sure. So one of my most recent achievements that I'm pretty proud of is receiving my advanced certificate, the FCRA advanced certificate through the PBSA.
Congratulations. That's great.
Good job.
Thank you so much. So did some studying up on that and reviewed all the coursework and was very proud to pass it on my first attempt. And coming out of that, not only do I just feel really proud of myself, but I feel that I can apply the knowledge that I learned into my day-to-day, and I've already been benefiting Vetty as a result. So I just think it was a really great thing to pursue. So I'm proud of it.
That's fantastic. There's just nothing like continuous learning and getting that certification. That's a tough nut to crack. Andrew, I think you're up next. What's an accomplishment that comes to mind? I know there's too many and we can spend the whole hour on them, but just give us one.
Well, I'm just kidding. One does come to mind. Thank you for asking, too. So I'm going to keep on name dropping, I guess. When I was with Wholesale, and then that turned into Informed Data, Carl Cogdill was my manager, a great manager, and I've never been afraid, and this goes back to lessons, I've never been afraid to have a bad idea so that a good idea might pop out, right? And I would share a lot of efficiency ideas and things like that, and one of them stuck. It took a couple of years, but it stuck, and Carl was able to hand me an opportunity to build an application. As much as I can say is to build an application in court for our court runners. From a project management point of view, I have a team of programmers and build an application that actually went live and worked. I wish I would have been able to stuck with it a little bit longer, but I did leave the company. And if I could ever work on that again, that was perfect. But an idea coming from just sitting there thinking, here's how, wouldn't it be nice type of idea to fruition was probably my favorite experience of of my career. And that jumps out at me. And I appreciate the people, and it was more than Carl, but I appreciate the people that were able to make that happen for me.
Oh, that's great. Boy, you've got two tremendous people you work with, Carl and Patty, so congratulations. And it is fun when something works. So, like, you have an idea.
Yeah.
Oh, it works.
I'd like to point out that I mentioned Jason Morris earlier, but you didn't say the great person for him. No, just kidding.
Jason Morris, that name rings a bell, but I think he owes me a drink. But
Out of my name dropping, you didn't know. Just kidding.
No,
He's a
no,
great guy, too. And he knows a lot of the bad ideas that I've thrown out in my life, too. So.
that's great. Tressa, let's go to you. What is something that comes to mind as an achievement or something that you're proud of or brings a smile to your face, either where you are now or a previous employer, previous career, whatever comes to mind?
So I would say what really makes me proud is the fact that I came from a manufacturing background, and just getting able to join the industry, learn the industry, and make so many great connections, build so many meaningful relationships. And so, fun fact, my MBA is in supply chain management. I took IT for like a semester, but a few weeks ago I wrote my first integration, and that had me super psyched just to be able to do that.
Oh, congratulations.
That's cool.
All right.
That's incredible.
That's pretty cool.
Well done.
That's very good. And I think we got to everybody except Kevin.
Well,
Yeah, Kevin, again, I know you could just spend the whole hour naming all the things, but just give us one.
well, this group is certainly inspiring every time I talk with them, no doubt. So I got to give them my love as always. But I would say, just with gratitude, like PBSA Access Subcommittee, Kurt Schwall introduced me to that subcommittee a long time ago, and that's how I really got going. He inspired me, been a great mentor for a long time and up to current day. So I'm grateful for that. And then PBSA presenting in general, Chad Askar, another great mentor, really encouraged me to put myself out there and get involved and do things like present. So for those things, I'm just forever grateful.
Oh, that's great. Well, it's all great stuff, guys. This really has proven to be a great podcast. Having four people instead of one, you get four times as much input. So before we move on to PBSA specifically, I think we kind of cover this a little bit, but this is kind of a group question. So anyone jump in who wants to, but all of you have experience in all sorts of things. You're all really talented, smart people. You could be in any industry you want. You can do all sorts of stuff. And you've all chosen to come to or stay in the background screening industry. So what about this industry keeps you going or keeps your attention? Just jump in.
So for me, it's definitely PBSA. PBSA, I love the network. I love the way that everyone works together. I love the continuous learning. I see all of the benefit in it, and being active in PBSA absolutely made me want to stay in this industry.
That's great. And for those who don't know, Tressa, you were do I have it right, the June 2025 Volunteer of the Month?
That's correct.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations for that.
Well deserved, Tressa.
Yes.
And whoever wants to go next. Oakley, what's your thought? Why this is? You have a varied background in other industries. What attracts you or keeps you in the screening space?
Yeah, so you kind of referred to it earlier. I would classify myself as a lifelong learner. I am always hungry to learn something new, to disrupt, to try new things. Even if you fail, right? Fail fast, learn from it, fly next time, right? So I love the complexity of the subject matter. I love being exposed to new challenges every single day. So I'm responsible for customer experience, vendor management, as well as operations and fulfillment for Vetty. And that presents itself with a world of different challenges every single day for me to get my hands into, learn something new from, and really collaborate with my team just to come out on top. So I love that we are just constantly learning in what we do.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And Andrew or Kevin, do you want to add anything?
I mean, I'll keep it simple. Yeah, I mean, it's just the relationships that people on this phone. And then when I was a vendor manager, it was the relationships with the CRAs. And now as a provider, the relationships with those CRAs. So it's kind of full circle, just all about the relationships, really.
That's great. And including a relationship with Andrew? Or put that one aside?
You can put that one in the win column. Yeah.
And Andrew,
Les,
other
you
than
need
the
to come to
company
one
you
of
keep-
our every other month coffee meetings with Kevin and I in Cleveland. You're cordially invited. You'll like those. It's much like this conversation, but a little bit on steroids too, where we can go all off on the board.
Coffee or Irish coffee or just regular coffee?
Well, sir, yes. So I'm naturally an inquisitive person. Working for SBI, as a wholesaler with criminal records. I'm still digging into criminal records myself sometimes, and I like it. It still does something for me. That's what keeps me in. But PBSA for sure, and they deserve all the credit. I'll talk about it all the time if I don't have the opportunity later. Before I started volunteering for PBSA, which has only been the last 3 years, I credited them for so much of my career success because I've been able to network and do all the things that we're talking about. Since volunteering, Les, it's a lot of work. I will say that. It can be a lot of work at times, but it's given back 20-fold, I would say. It's just something that I can't say enough about it. And short of us being a PBSA commercial, I just would like to put that out there and say, it as part of everything that we're talking about. And it's something that I'd like more, it's not just compliance. It's operation, it's sales, it's things like that people are talking about either on their own when they get together at lunch, like Kevin and I, or at the lunch table at conferences. Things are happening, and you can do that, and you can keep your interest for the industry alive really well if you participate.
Well, this has been a great discussion. I mean, I hear lifelong learning and complexities, and things change every day, and relationships in PBSA. So this is a great discussion. So before we pivot to what you do outside of screening, let's just ask a question directly about the role PBSA has played in your career. And I think we've talked a lot about it, but if anyone wants to add anything, jump on in.
Well, they can't get rid of me because I'm several years in. I've been doing the PBSA Access, PBSA GR, and now U.S. Counsel. So it's been several years. And when somebody brought out the Patient Pacer initiative, that was several years ago. And that made me feel old because we flew in and we lobbied on behalf of the industry and had some good discussion. Hopefully we get some progress here in the near future, though. So.
I was always impressed by people in government relations. I attended some of the calls in the early days, and it was just too embarrassing to fall asleep, so I stopped attending. There was just so much detail. And Kevin, if I have this right, you're the incoming chair-elect for the U.S. Counsel, right?
Correct.
Okay. Well, no good deed goes unpunished. So what's your sentence? I mean, how long do you get to serve or have to serve?
Well, 2 years. So I'm having fun with it. Great group. Andrew is part of the, council that meets on a monthly basis. And there's other great people that make us look good essentially during those calls. So it works out well.
So is Andrew stalking you? I'm trying to figure this out here.
Or vice versa. I don't know.
Because I can get you to name a couple of bad lawyers, but
It's a
think
Cleveland
it's
thing, I think.
Yeah, it is. I think, Kevin, you were part of, and this is only going back 3 years, but my memory's bad. You and Bobby Shank brought me in to volunteering, which I owe you both. And I've co-chaired the provider advisory group since the lesson. Right now, my current co-chair is the great Robin Watkins. She's one of the people I'm talking about as life, or career-long friends. And a quick plug for the provider advisory group for, we consider ourselves a brain trust led by me is not so great of a advertisement, but it's a good group, and we are able to do some cool things on the provider side.
Oh, that's great. And to finish up the discussion, Tressa, Oakley, why don't you jump on in? What's been the role of PBSA in your careers?
I'll jump in. So I'm newer, right, being in PBSA. I'm just joining through Vetty, almost 3 years ago. But since joining PBSA, just the educational resources have been incredibly helpful, incredibly informative for myself and my team. I think having opportunities like speaking with this crew, right, or even speaking individually, which I seek to do at the main conference in the fall, have really been, great. Just great opportunities, right, to put yourself out there, to learn more, meet new people. And then also at the mid-year, speaking of government relations, right, I was able to participate in the lobbying efforts at the federal level for some of the initiatives around AI, and certain other laws, litigation, and things like that are underway. So that was a really exciting opportunity as well that wouldn't have been possible without PBSA. So I think all in all, it just really opens doors for people that are newer to the industry or those who have been here a long time, right? Like Andrew, Kevin, and Tressa, you've been here a while too. So no matter who you are, it opens doors.
That's great. And Tressa, as volunteer of the month, I can't even imagine the number of hours that you put in.
So I've been in the industry now, like I said, going on 4 years. As soon as I joined, I went to my first mid-year conference, and I was locked in from that moment on. I just know I wanted to do some sort of volunteer. And so right now, I am chair of the Volunteer Program Advisory Group. However, I also, with the government relations, like Oakley said, just doing that Hill Day, it absolutely motivated me even to come back to South Carolina and try to lobby for getting date of birth access back on the access terminals. So outside of that, I did help with the planning for the Paris. We just came back from Paris from
that's
the
tough
conference
duty.
over there. And so just getting involved globally, not just with one program, but with all of them, and just learning and continuously learning and building relationships. And I love it.
Well, I feel really bad that PBSA made you go to Paris, but you'll probably get over it. Well, this part's been really fun, but at this point, let's pivot a little bit. Let's get outside of background screening. I'm not sure, but I suspect possibly that you might have lives outside of background screening, although what you all describe, it's hard to imagine when. But why don't we just do a little round robin here and just go one at a time and tell us something about your hobbies and your interests outside of work, what you do for fun, family, whatever you want to talk about. I can't remember where you left off. I can't remember who went first last. So in that case, we'll start with Kevin. Tell us a little about yourself. Number one, do you have a life outside of screening? And if so, what is it?
Somehow it is possible. Somehow I have achieved it, but most of that time is taken up by two little kids. I have a 3-year-old son and a 9-year-old daughter, so I spend a lot of time with them outside of work. I help coach cross country with my daughter, so that helps keep me in shape for at least 3 months of the year. I can't speak for the rest of the months, but at least 3 months I got it covered to stay in shape. And then when I have a little bit of time to myself, I'll shout out a previous guest of yours, Larry White. I do like to dabble in some Mario Kart. So I would say we should level up and have some competition at PBSA annual or mid-year and see who is king of Mario Kart or queen.
Oh, the gauntlet has been thrown.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
We can get a tournament going at the annual. I'm just
I
saying.
like
Yeah.
I love it.
If someone volunteers to do it, I think they will. They would do it. All right.
I'll be the chair of the PBSA Mario Kart committee.
There you go.
I love
Everyone
where we're
else is
going.
already busy.
We'll talk to
All right, well,
Melissa and Michelle.
Melissa
They'll
and
say
Michelle,
yes.
if you're listening, Oakley Smith has volunteered in public to be head of the Mario competition. So there we go.
We're going to be missing calls practicing for Mario Kart.
Don't
So
tell
Kevin,
Vetty, okay?
so Kevin, I hope you know what you're into. You're at the start of 15 years of sports and weekend practices and games, and depending upon what your kids get into, traveling to competitions. But anyway, good luck with that. I'm done with that,
Bring it
but good
on.
luck to you.
I'm up for it. Let's go.
And then, Oakley, what about you? What do you do outside of vetting and vetting?
So I am the mom to 3 beautiful boys.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. So my oldest is 5, our middle is 2, and our youngest is about to be 6 months old, which I hate. I can't believe it's already gone so fast.
Wow.
So, funny story, when we were preparing for the mid-year, I was actually on maternity leave. So this crew has seen me hair bun up, t-shirt with spit up on it, with a little baby on me, talking about disrupting. They've seen me at my worst. They could definitely see me at my best. But yeah, so just managing the lives of my 3 little sons, my 2 weenie dogs, Daisy and Lindsay, and my husband. And we live life in Austin, Texas, go around to splash pads and do food adventures. And those are our favorite things to do beyond work, just spending time together and eating really good food.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay. I guess I haven't been to Austin long enough to have, so the real good food's in Austin? Maybe I didn't go to that part of Austin. I can't remember.
I'll show you, Les. Come to Austin.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Other than barbecue, I'll eat any day of the week. Okay, well, that's fantastic. So you not only have your PBSA advanced certification, but you also have 3 young boys. So congratulations on that. That's great.
Very good.
Thank you.
And you
so
too,
much.
just like Kevin, you're gonna. It would matter of time for you start all the sports traveling and practices and games and et cetera, et cetera. So you have that to look forward to.
Absolutely.
And then Andrew, what about you?
So I'm also a father of a young child. My son Reed is 5 years old, and I'm a little older than Kevin and Oakley, so I get more tired. But that's my joke. I'm 46 with a 5-year-old. I'm tired. It's an awesome experience. I love it every day. And some other things that we do all of those type of father-son things. And then also I like to dabble. I'm a hack guitar player, and I'm not a great singer, but I like to write songs and do some things like that. That's some, get a creative outlet, if you will. If they're any good, I don't know, but I like to do it, and it's fun to kind of just create. That's
Hey,
one
as
of the
long
things
as you
I-
enjoy it. I mean, from what you say, maybe other people don't, but as long as you enjoy it.
I don't know if other people do because I don't show it to them, but it's just my thing.
Sounds
Well, you
like
now
another-
realize at the next conference, you now sentence yourself to.
There was a guy. Remember, he used to play the guitar at the very beginning. I don't remember his name, but he played
That
a
could be
guitar
you.
at the opening ceremony all the time. And
That's gonna be Andrew.
That will not be me. That will
Not
not be me
remembering.
for sure.
No, not remembering. All right. And Tressa, what about you? What do you do outside of going to Paris on behalf of BBSA?
So I actually have 4 children and 2
Wow.
grandchildren. So my youngest is 15, and then I have a 18-year-old in college, a 22-year-old that just finished college, and then a 23-year-old. And my grandkids are 3 and 1. So when I'm not busy with them, I absolutely love to cook. And that's one of my passions. I love to travel, and I like to go fishing.
Wow. I don't know where you guys all find the time for all the things that you do, but that's congratulations. So at this point, before you're all off the hook, it's time to play, drum roll please, fun facts. This time we start with Andrew. Time to tell us a fun fact about yourself that people may not know, completely unrelated to screening. And that is something that people can harass you about at the next conference.
I don't know how fun it is, but it's very timely. I'm currently in Denver, Colorado, visiting a friend from the military. I was in the United States Air Force for 4 years, from 97 to 01, a long time ago. But he did 22 years, so you might see some of the things behind me. So I'm actually a house guest right now, and I wouldn't have missed this podcast for the world, so I made sure that I was prepared for it. So I've gotten to see him in different places, including DC, where he was stationed, Fairbanks, Alaska, and he and I are going to go up to Cheyenne, which is a couple hours north, to see a couple other friends where we were stationed together. So that's a fun fact, and it's timely because I'm actually doing it right now.
So you were in the Air Force you retired after 3 years then?
Well, 4 years. I didn't retire. I
4
wish I retired. That'd have been nice. But yes, I did a 4-year enlistment.
Good for you. Congratulations. And Fairbanks, that's great. I just got back from Alaska. I'm doing the whole Alaska thing, so
Very cool.
Love it. And then Tressa, to you, give us a fun fact. Tell us something you did in Paris that no one knows about, and you're trying to keep secret.
Yeah, what happens in Paris stays in Paris. But fun fact about me, I have never had a cherry before.
Say it again.
That is
I've
fun.
never eaten a cherry in my entire life. I've never had a cherry.
You're missing
A
out.
cherry.
Why?
Huh.
It's something
Cherry, I
about
love it.
growing up and having to take cough syrup that tastes like cherry that
Oh.
has given me a fear of ever trying a cherry for real.
Try a real cherry, like a dark, like a really like an authentic cherry. It doesn't taste like syrupy yuck. It's good. I don't know. I hope
But
you
don't
like.
bite in. They have pits. You might not know that
Yeah,
from the
it's
cough
true.
syrup. So
Yeah, well, you got advice from an expert and an expert in nutrition and an expert in pits. So your path is set. All right. What are the chances at the next conference people will be offering you cherries?
I think
wonder.
that's high chance.
Hey,
And I'm sure Oakley will find you just a perfect one that you
Yes.
might like.
please, Oakley, do.
I'll bring you one. Yeah.
And Kevin, what about you? What's a fun fact about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna totally dork out here. Do a little show and tell for you. I collect
Okay.
bobbleheads from minor league baseball.
Oh,
so
very
that's
cool.
Oh, cool.
it's just a little something treat myself every once in a while. Kids come along with me, of course, too. So make it a family affair while I do it.
Where's that from? I can't quite see it.
This is for, if you remember Major League, the movie, so a nice Cleveland tie there. It's pretty much the logo for the movie. So they use the logo as part of the bobblehead, and then they put a body on it.
Oh, so that's from the Cleveland.
Yeah, so it's
from baseball?
Correct. It's a minor league team called the Mahoning Valley Scrappers, and this is what the bobblehead they just gave away.
Very cool.
So Kevin Horval, the bobblehead king.
I might have some competition out there. In fact, I know there is probably a few other people who do collect bobbleheads as part of the members.
All right. Well, Oakley, when you head up the Mario tournament, you also have to head up a bobblehead competition. So everyone bring Kevin a bobblehead. Right.
I wish I knew more about that to be a successful bobblehead chair. But a great segue, Les, into my fun fact. And people call this a fun fact and are floored. And I don't even know if the Disruptors know this about me. I recently disclosed this to the Vetty team, but I'm actually a pretty avid gamer. In my free time, my husband and I love games, board games, anything that's competitive, but especially video games. So when Kevin mentioned Mario Kart, hands were raised, right? Definitely could chair that committee. I played with professionals in college in certain games on the computer, and I still to this day play games all the time. And it's a way I bond with my husband, and we play them competitively. And I'm not going to disclose the games on the podcast. Come find me at PBSA, and we could talk about that then.
All right. And you're not going to disclose who regularly wins, you or your husband, right? Right.
Oh, that would be such a debate.
All right. Some things are better left unsaid. So.
He's going to listen to this. It would cause a fight.
All right.
No.
So you must be the winner then. Just obvious.
Well,
right?
you are not only a disruptive group, but it turns out you're a fun group as well. So these are all great things. So it's a lot of fun. We're kind of coming down the home stretch with just a couple of questions. And we always play the game or the section advice for newcomers. And I think some of you have covered this already when you talked about your career accomplishment, but it is interesting to ask, because I think some of the people who watch this podcast are either new to the industry or they may be at an entry level. They may be a beginning verifier or beginning Q&A researcher. And the question is, why this industry, how to get involved. The obvious answer is become a committee member. But what's your advice to people about growing in the background screening industry? And I'll just open it up. You guys take it away.
I'll start off. I'll repeat myself and just say, come to sessions, come to conferences. AI hasn't yet taken over the world, so let's go face to face whenever we can. I might sound old, and I am old, but that's my advice: is develop interpersonal relationships as much as possible. Come to PBSA events and develop that network of people. There are a lot of good people in our industry.
I would say just definitely get involved. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Learn as much as you can and build those relationships.
Yep. In another podcast, someone said that I didn't really square the circle. It didn't really occur to me, but one of the things I'll get on my high horse here for a second, is that if you are kind of an entry-level person in the screening industry and maybe your manager won't let you go to PBSA or your company is no longer because of consolidation, you can still get on a committee by phone and spend an hour a month or a week or whatever it is and just listen. And no one keeps attendance. No one's going to be mad at you if you miss a meeting. So it's really open to everybody. So all those points are well taken. Oakley, Kevin, you guys want to jump in on this one?
I would say, find a group like this or certain mentors or advisors and just have them challenge you and push you to be better personally and professionally. So just put yourself out there and allow that to occur.
Yeah, it's good to be able to talk to people and bounce ideas off their head. So excellent. And Oakley, what say you? You're the final one on this particular question. What's your advice?
Sure. So as someone that didn't come from this industry and, as a part of a group of people that didn't go to college for background screening, right? We didn't seek to necessarily be a part of this industry. There is so much knowledge through osmosis. Just surround yourself with the people in the space, surround yourself with folks and committees and documents and all the things related to PBSA, cross-train, and just be open-minded to learning something new that might make you uncomfortable. Like Andrew mentioned, we will probably not be the disruptors forever, right? We want other people to do this. We want other people to have creative, industry-breaking kind of ideas, right? Disruptive ideas. So just be open-minded for anyone who's new.
That's great advice. And I'm the same. I didn't come from the screening industry. I came from, I was a retired lawyer, so I got involved in background screening because I didn't want to go to court anymore. And I had retired. My wife said, no, we're married for better or for worse, but not for lunch, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Get out of the house and do something. So that's how I got involved. All right, so that's right. You can come from any other industry and do something great.
Les, that's a good segue for me real fast. I just thought that you've done a great job on this podcast. I need to catch up. You've done so many of them, and I need to learn by osmosis, Oakley, and listen to more of these because you've got some great people. But what's next for you? Let's ask the interviewer some questions. What's going on? Is there a fourth version of, or I think we're on version 4 of the Safe Hiring Manual? Is there anything in the future for you that we can look forward to?
Well, actually, that's a great question. Yeah, the Safe Hiring Manual came out, I think, in 2004. Before that, no one had really written anything. I mean, there was really other than a few blog posts or something, which were, a lot of them were just my blogs that were, people just took and rewrote. And so the last one came out in 2017. And yeah, I've given it some thought for updating it, but I haven't really put the time in to find anyone because it's a huge job. I mean, it's almost 1,000 pages, and writing it was easy. It didn't take anything to write it. The effort was editing, right? 'Cause you have to go every single word in every sentence in every paragraph, editing and organizing. But yeah, I appreciate it. But I'm fully retired from background screening. And this is just a project to have fun and meet people that I haven't talked to before or haven't talked to in a long time or so forth. So I appreciate the question. Yeah. But I am fully retired. I
Good.
don't have to.
Awesome.
And well-deserved.
I don't have to do anything. But the
Do you
podcast
like-
has been fun. And Andrew, your assignment, if you choose to accept it, is to listen to every single one and report back to me.
For sure.
in a couple
Certainly.
days.
A report.
And, and because I'm going to test you and make sure.
Do you like the moniker of the Godfather of background screening? Is that a title that you enjoy?
First person you worked with, my good friend Jason Morris actually gave me that moniker. All right. I'm not exactly sure what it means. The old phrase, no good deed goes unpunished, kind of applies to me. So I make this short, I was the first person in the industry as a lawyer to actually write about it. And put things in writing, and then write a couple books, and then I somehow got roped into being the keynote speaker to the first industry conferences, and from there I reluctantly got drafted into the committee that started APBS, and then someone appointed me chair of that. It's like, well, how did that happen? I have stuff to do, and not only that, but I'm lazy. Yeah, right. So, but I was able to get that off the ground, so that was kind of fun, and then. The growth of NAPBS and the transformation of PBSA was due entirely, however, to all the really talented people that came afterwards and just took this thing and grew it beyond anything that any one of us imagined originally. So folks like yourself have got in here with brand new ideas. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. Let's talk about tomorrow. Looking at things differently, not assuming anything. And, the difference between background screening now and 25 years ago is that, it's like the Stone Age to now. But today might be the Stone Age compared to what is going to be happening 20 years from now. 20 years from now, people might look back to these days and say, oh, my God, you guys were so barbaric and so inefficient. So you just never know. So this could be the ground floor of the screening industry. So it's just a lot of fun. So I'm really grateful to the fact that folks like you are taking it brand new, looking at it all from a brand new way and perspective, and not assuming anything, and just taking it off, hyperspeed or warp drive in all sorts of directions. So I appreciate the question, Andrew, and let me just ask if anyone has any final words or final thoughts, anything you want to add. We'll just go in the order I see you on the screen. We'll go Oakley, Andrew, Tressa, and we'll give Kevin the final word. So, Oakley, anything you want to add?
Sure. Final words. Thank you, Les, for the opportunity to do this, to have us on, to allow us to continue to have a forum to disrupt. Thank you to the PBSA and all of its members. Thank you to Vetty. Hey, and thank you just to the industry and everyone involved in it for making it something so challenging and meaningful for everyone involved, including those that we serve.
Fantastic. Andrew, I give you the last word for this podcast. Go ahead.
Just to give thanks also, Les, not only for this podcast, but what you just described is when you built the foundation for the industry association and all of that. Thank you for doing that. And then thank this group also, guys. This had so much traction. Thank you for really seeing the vision that we discussed in the early stages. And then to everyone else that's listening, I would just say, let's discuss more disruptive ideas, creative ideas when you can, work within the rules of compliance, and when maybe do some what if situations of scenarios of what if we didn't have to work within the rules of, all the regulations and things like that. And something can come from it. I'm really, hopefully I can see what the next 20 years is going to be in this industry. And I'm really interested to understand what those things might be.
Great, thank you. And Tressa, anything you want to add? And then we'll go to Kevin for the final word.
Yeah, just thank you so very much. I'm definitely honored to be here on the podcast today. Thanks to the team. You guys are awesome. Love working with you and learning from you all. Thanks for PBSA for all of the opportunities, and thanks for ClearStar for always being 100% supportive of PBSA as well.
Excellent. And Kevin, you want to put a cherry on it? Oh, I shouldn't say it, for Tressa doesn't like that.
Well played.
We're going to give the
All
U.S.
back.
Chair-elect the final word before we sign off. Go ahead, Kevin.
Awesome. Nothing but love for my fellow disruptors here. Love for you as well, Lester, as well as PBSA. And the last word I would say, the group here, Disruptors, always inspiring me every time we meet. I love what Tressa said earlier. Dare to disrupt.
Well, I appreciate it. And ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fantastic episode. A real, use the phrase again, a real disruption in the way we normally do things. It's been a really distinct honor to have with me in alphabetical order Mr. Andrew Cashman, Mrs. Tressa Fullard, Kevin Horval, and Oakley Smith. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Les.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that was yet another wonderful conversation with a background screening pro. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an update. And hey, if you got a moment, we'd love for you to leave us a review. It really helps get the word out. For more info or to catch up on past episodes, or to make suggestions or to suggest possible future guests, head over to our website. Once again, this is your host, Les Rosen, and it's been a pleasure to bring you another episode. See you on the next episode. Thanks.